welcome to Critical Questions, the antidote to lockdown boredom. I've trawled the internet for the best, worst, most interesting and ridiculous dumb questions I can find. And with any luck, my guests will be able to answer all of them. Today we have got with us the Infinite Dave. Jenni Bitchface.
Hi.
MathPig.
I'm great, Mike.
Julie LaVoice.
Hello.
And Jen's Little Corner.
Hey.
And she's pissed.
Again.
Not angry, drunk.
How are we all doing? Are we ready for the weekend?
I'm good. I'm also going to say we have Manda, too.
No, she's the Infinite Dave.
I'm the Infinite Dave.
Oh my gosh, you are. I can't see. I apologize, Dave.
Can you explain where Infinite Dave comes from?
It was just my next Dave
Amanda,
iteration name.
Pay attention.
I thought it was a
where
reference from Red Dwarf, so go with that, man.
No, if it was going to be a reference to anything, it would be the
No,
Infinite
Red Dwarf.
Rick.
I was going to be entropic
Amanda,
Dave
you're muted.
because entropy is my favorite theory in physics, but I was afraid people would think nerd
Can everybody
did
else hear
that,
her?
so I just went with infinite.
Okay,
Dave.
I gotta leave and come back.
Okay, bye, Jen.
Okay, she couldn't hear you.
Alright, what were you saying, Amanda? Because
He'll be
I
right back.
couldn't understand a word of it.
I said I was going to be entropic Dave because entropy is my favorite theory in physics, but I figured everybody would think I was a big nerd, so I went with infinite instead.
I like
I
entropy.
love it when
Entropy
people
is a
think
good
I'm
word.
a nerd.
Yeah, I love it when you nerd out.
I know you
And
do.
I'm like, oh, cool. I might actually be
Almost-
reasonably intelligent.
Pretty much everybody in this stream is a nerd, so I don't. What would be the problem?
I was thinking more the audience, so
Well, half of them are nerds as well, so.
Plus, I've owned that title for a long time. Nobody's taken it from me.
show. I have Boltzmann's theory of entropy.
And next to Infinite, she's got Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got it. Yeah, there's my Dave tattoo, I guess. So.
Do we need to have the ultimate nerd stream at some point? Is it
The problem is we would argue constantly about what a nerd was.
Well, there's
Sorry.
certainly specialties
That's
of
nerdy.
nerddom. You know, I've got Shakespeare and other literary references tattooed on me.
They're a specialist type of nerd. There's a literary nerd. They don't count as normal nerds.
Yeah, they do.
Fuck you.
Jeez, Dave.
I can't do math. I'm sorry. I tried really hard. I can
It's
balance
all right.
my checkbook. That's all I need to be able to do.
It's alright, it'll get worse when we get to the fact that I exclude Star Trek from nerddom, so... Star Wars, even.
Well, that's more like geek culture.
Well,
I think.
Badger's not here, but no, Amanda's here. So, hang on, I'm here. You're excluding Star Trek as well.
No, just Star Wars.
Just and I actually object to that as well. Star Wars is nerdy.
And I think when you're obsessed with anything pop culture related, it's nerdy, but it's also geeky. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
like
right.
the people who can tell you like what volume of Spider-Man 1 blah 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 is the one where this villain makes his first appearance. You know, off the top of their head. They're geeks and they're awesome, but it's not the same as being a nerd.
No. Right! Should we do questions?
Moving on.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
We are. Do you know what? That was much more effective when he's in the panel.
Who?
The accent,
MathPig.
you know.
Oh,
Right.
Wait,
Question.
MathPig.
God damn it!
Drink.
Have
Question.
some water.
667. Which person do you interact with the most in your real life without knowing what their name is? And is it too late to ask them now?
Oh. Yes.
My real life.
Obviously, they don't really matter since you haven't asked their name.
No, it's
Well, no, they can matter. I mean, I would have to say probably mine would be the guy that owns the pizza shop.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say the woman that runs the shop down the bottom of the street, like.
Right? But my daughter went to school with his daughter.
Oh.
Right? So I know him vaguely well. But I have absolutely no clue what his name is.
Mine was really bad. It was a guy who, we lived in the same neighborhood for forever. I knew the name of his band that he was in. I knew where they played. We went to the same coffee shop all the time. We always said hello. We were on a level of acquaintanceship where we hugged when we saw each other. But he had told me his name when we first met, and I forgot it. And then 5 years later, it was way too late to ask. But I asked anyway, and he was so angry, he never spoke to me again. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I still feel bad about it.
Awful.
It was really shitty, but I wasn't.
Why did you ask him?
I just forgot.
Why didn't you ask someone else?
Well, because I couldn't. I tried all kinds of things. Like I tried introducing him to other people to see if he'd say what his name was, and it never happened. It was like something out of a freaking sitcom. It was ridiculous.
I always tell people, I bring them together and then I say, introduce yourselves.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's actually made me think of another. There's only 2 houses where my mum lives, and it's her house and the next door neighbours. And obviously, I grew up there. And the next door neighbour was Joe Thomas and Deirdre Thomas. And then Deirdre died, and he was on his own for ages. And now he has another woman. And yes, they're both, obviously old or whatever, and all the rest of it. And they're together, and she lives there. And I know her to the point where we're allowed to go into their backyard and with the daughter, and she plays with the fountain and flowers and all the rest. And she comes out, and, hi, how are you? I have no fucking clue what that woman's name is.
Yep.
Seraphim
in
says,
her back garden,
yeah,
playing with the and no idea who she is.
I don't know the name of any of my neighbours. Seraphim, I do talk to them. Seraphim says most of my co-workers. Brainbug says my mail lady. Nerdy says there are about 4 different people behind the counter at the supermarket. I don't think the social norm is to ask the supermarket staff what their names are, and if they don't have name badges. But no. And then B shouts Snowflake. I'm assuming that's probably at the guy that got pissed at you asking his name.
Well, I honestly somebody for 5 years, and you're close enough that you hug whenever you see each other. I think he had a right to be concerned.
I
don't think he was being a
admit
snowflake.
to people out front that I forget names, and that way I don't have that problem in the future because they don't find it funny when I ask them what their name is.
I find it much easier that I talk to people more through StreamYards now.
Because their name's in front of you.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Dave?
Yes, absolutely right.
So who's yours? Have you got Jen?
What?
Whose name don't you know?
Answer the fucking question.
Whose name did...
Remember, that's why we're here.
There was a guy in the company I used to work for. There was a guy who we were all on site techs, and he was in the main office in a different city actually, but he would if we were on site and we needed technical information that we didn't actually have with us at the time, he would go and look it up and give us the feedback and everything. And for 2 years whilst I was working with them, I could not remember what his fucking name was. And then I had to go interstate and visit them, and I had to meet him face to face, and I couldn't remember what his fucking name was then either, and I had to admit to that, and he got really shitty with me and wouldn't talk to me for a month.
Yeah, people.
This is somebody I worked with, so he got pissy with me about it. His name is Michael, by the way.
You can remember it now.
Forget it now. And I haven't worked for that company for 10 years, and I cannot forget his name. And
Jennifer
he no longer works for them either. I know that too. So.
Jennifer says, if I was the person whose name was unknown, I would think it was hilarious if someone I knew fairly well asked my name. Manda!
Antique Curtains. That was his band name.
That was his band name.
Still can't tell you the name of the guy. That was his band name.
Have they got big enough that you can look them up yet and it'll list the members?
I don't know. It's Memphis. There are a lot of bands, and this was a while ago. So.
Manda.
I mean, there are a lot of people we interact with online that we don't necessarily know their real names, although most people tell me. Although I think Junk Shop is like probably the one person that I'm closest with. I have no idea what his name is.
Oh, good, because I've doxed them.
How do you say? How do you not know his name? I mean, I've never heard it from him once.
Yeah, I've never heard them say it, but that's that's fine. I get that. But I have a second cousin that lives in Phoenix that I would spend a lot of time with, and she told me her son's name, but I forgot it, and for like a year, I didn't know how to refer to him because I was too afraid to sound like an asshole and be like, what, Leanna, what is your son's name again? Like, I felt really bad about it. So I would just keep referring to him as your son.
Yeah. Bring along your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to say, the number of times that I get one or more of you to ask people to come in here because I can't remember their name is far too often.
Oh wow! Oh, that is ammunition there. You probably shouldn't have told us that.
I could use.
You know that person you are. Okay, you can't remember who it is, can you, Dave?
I'm trying to think of people whose name I can remember that I know. And I pointed out two in the chat, which was a Nerdy and Spooky. I both have known the name of, and I absolutely no clue what they are now.
You know Nerdy and Spooky's real name?
Yeah. And you know what's really funny is Junk Shop's. Junk Shop is a perfect example as well. I forget his name constantly. Oh, keep saying him. I'm sorry.
Their name.
But I keep forgetting it constantly. But luckily, Julie reminds me.
I do. I'm good at that. I do not like it when people, because it's Junk Shop Library, right? And I don't mind Junk Shop. I do not like it when people shorten it all the way to junk. I'm like, can you not? That's playing hero for private parts. Can you not do that? Just throwing that out there.
It's even worse if they go, how's your husband junk?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I saw someone yesterday. I'm not
answer.
keen as well. I saw someone yesterday shorten it to JSL. I'm not wonderfully keen on that. Do you?
I do that.
Why?
I don't know. And I do it constantly for Doorknob Head.
Junkyard.
If I'm typing on my phone, I don't have you can't just type at and then two letters and their name pops up.
Yeah, you have to type the whole thing out.
You have to type the whole thing and fuck typing Junk Shop space like JKL or JSL. There you are. It's easier.
You see, I don't mind JS, actually. B says she uses JS.
No, and JS or JSL is fine. Because it's not as weird.
Three letters is too many for a nickname. It's okay for a written,
that's fingers.
for a written nickname, like FDR, JFK, LBJ, that kind of thing. But for addressing somebody in verbal, 3 is too many.
There's a whole song in Hair with those initials.
Right. Oh, moving on.
What did you drop? We need to know now. What did you drop?
Have you not seen this before? This is what I'm always. I've got to be fidgeting with something, or I go nuts. It's a.
I do the same thing. I have a peg.
I have a cube that's got a thing on that it's got a widdly bit. Oh, it's green, so you can't see the bits.
Bit.
I'd have to turn the green screen off for you to see it because it's black with green bits. It just looks like a black cube.
Oh, that's okay. I always find something on my desk to fiddle with because
I don't need to see the wiggly bit. It's fine.
Do you know? Very good wiggly bits. They go in multiple directions.
Oh my God.
Dave,
I'm sorry. I'm 12 years old.
Dave, that is
that's
a
okay.
real skill.
you didn't ask me.
You answered though.
But you didn't answer.
Would you like to answer again with another answer?
I didn't answer before.
I thought you did.
No.
Do you have an answer, Jen?
He forgot you midstream, Jen. That's.
I'm used to it. I'm very forgettable.
What would your answer be?
You're not.
When I meet somebody, I usually tell them that I'm very bad with names, and that I will ask their name several times over the next few weeks until I remember it, until it burns in, and then I'm just free to be myself and either remember or forget their name until it locks in. Right, I see no sense in trying to pretend.
Well done.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Exactly.
I'm rational.
No, I mean, if
Well, I tell
I'd done
people.
that with that guy instead of being embarrassed, it wouldn't have taken 5 years, and he would have been so pissed.
It's taken me a long time to get to the point where I will tell people that I won't remember. And the worst thing about having my memory problems is I don't know what I won't remember. I just know that it's always important. It's really weird.
All I know is what I will forget will be important.
Yeah, pretty much. The problem is that you don't know that you've forgotten things that aren't important. If that makes sense.
Honestly, Dave, you should make a T-shirt with that on it.
I'll forget.
MathPig?
Right. Hi, Lucy. There you go. Jennifer says, I've known my cat for almost 10 years. I still don't know his name. Have you thought about
Isn't that the
asking him?
worst though? Because we've got 5 cats here, and you'll go to say something to one of the cats or about one of the cats, and you'll go through about 4 or 5 names before you actually hit the actual correct cat's name.
They don't take
No,
it.
my mom does
personally.
that with children.
I do this to people. I do this about my kids, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah. I get
My
called my
parents did
sister's
that.
name by my mom.
My parents did that. My aunts and uncles do it. I've seen friends do it. That's common as all snap.
It's really frustrating though, especially when you're
Oh,
the person
I
doing
believe
it, because you go, "Oh, Fred, Jill, Greg, what the fuck's your name?"
You live here, I will find out.
Angel pronounces his own name wrong. I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point he does it on purpose just to piss me off. But, you know, the first few times he attempted to say it, he said it wrong. And now he just says it wrong all the time. So he's a little twat.
Right.
My mother was that angry at us when we were younger that she would forget our names when she was screaming, and she'd be like, "Fucking just forget," because she's so angry. But we were bastards.
Yeah. You knew if mom started at the top and went through the whole tour in birth order, she was really pissed.
Yeah. When you get the full name, you're like, oh.
Oh, yeah. If I heard my first, middle, and last name, oh, yeah. That was bad. Really bad.
It was bad anytime I heard any part of my name. I hated it.
Oh, dear.
That's
But
like,
you know, hey, it's part of the disease.
if anyone in my family ever calls me Jennifer, I know I've pissed them off.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever call my daughter Jennifer.
Fuck, what have I done?
My mother actually took us to an orphanage one time and parked out front of it and told us to get out of the car. She was fucking sick of us. Like, I swear to fuck, like, she had no intention of doing it. It was deliberately a scare factor. Like, but yeah, she parked at the bottom of the hill and she was like, "Get out! I'm fucking dealing with you no more. You want to do what you want. Go and fucking find someone else that'll put up with you." It was like, "It's all right."
Oh, my God.
That's evil. I'm
I'm officially scared of MathPig's mom.
Oh. No, she was the person that the kids were sent to be disciplined. You did not do what you were told. You did what you were told.
And yet you still managed to blow up chunks of the countryside.
Yes, but that she wasn't watching us then.
Yes, but the whole point was she was meant to be a disciplinary to the point where you wouldn't do that when she wasn't watching.
No. We were a disciplinary to the point where we were to do what she says. You know, that's it. We can blow shit up. She didn't say don't blow shit up.
She didn't say don't blow shit up.
She opened the door and said, "Get
Listen,
out." and don't come back
excuse
to your
me,
home."
you grew up in Northern Ireland. I would have thought
Yeah.
that was something a mother would have to say.
No. Don't join them organizations.
Oh, I see.
There's a
Don't join the
difference.
bad guys, but you can go blow shit up.
You can blow shit up. Just don't join an organization where they blow shit up.
I can see that.
Were you an active participant in the Troubles?
No, I was too young. I'm only 37, but I grew up during it. When Dave's talking about us blowing shit up, that was just us with fireworks and making explosives and things like that.
Oh,
That
that's
was
just
just-
regular shenanigans.
Here, that was just kids being kids. But
Yeah, same here.
I love how you say that's just kids being kids, but when I grew up, we didn't make explosives and like.
No, neither did we in the rest of the UK.
No, fireworks. That's very, I don't know, that was very normal. I grew up in a very small, very boring town, so we had to make our own
But
fun.
it's
Wait,
not, because we don't
MathPig,
have
where did you
fireworks.
get explosives from?
Well, I think the main thing you're referring to would be, when we would blow up the deodorant cans and use them and things like that. And you can make
Oh, we
explosives
definitely
out
did
of
that.
anything.
We definitely blew up deodorant cans. They were fun.
Yeah.
I
And the
stole my
anarchist cookbook.
father.
You could just
I stole
download
my
the
father's,
anarchist cookbook, man, and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was infinitely better than you lot. I didn't do any of that. The worst thing I did was we could lit a campfire underneath Mum and Dad's house.
You lit a fire under you tried to set fire to someone's house. Yes, we're the bad guys here.
I don't know, I think
We were camping out underneath the house because the house was off the ground, so you could actually get underneath the crawl space. And we made a campfire, and Dad came down under the house and goes, "What the fuck are you lot doing?" Because all the smoke had gone up inside the house.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in as much trouble.
Jenny,
when
how
we
did
were
you
kids-
how did you blow up your dad's shotgun shells? Did you get the powder out, or
we would cut them open with a hacksaw to get the powder out.
right?
Oh wow.
We would use that to build. We invented our own hand launched missile that would explode on contact.
Yep,
Cool.
that sounds.
And then practice
about right.
with it by shooting it into a train boxcars as they went past. It worked. Yeah.
Spooky says you made
We got about
gunpowder at school.
Oh, my mother would have killed me.
Oh, puppy!
And then MathPig says in the chat that he made
Aw.
grenades.
They're not technically grenades. They were kiddie grenades.
They were
You need
kiddie
to
grenades.
Stop fucking talking before I get angrier.
I thought that's why you left. That's why I typed it in the chat.
Right,
I don't-
moving on.
I no longer want to know the story. Yeah.
Moving on.
Right.
Question 678. Have you ever got something that you wished for and realised it wasn't as good as you had hoped? What was it and why did it not live up to expectations?
My first husband, because he was a bastard.
No hesitation. Shoot him, man.
Julie, you're supposed to test drive that shit before you get married.
Oh, I did. We lived together for 3 years. I was just stupid, young, and in love. He cheated on me 2 weeks before our wedding.
What?
Oh.
I know, and I still
Wait,
didn't
wait,
leave
wait,
him.
when did you
That's
find
on
out
me.
about
was
that?
on me.
When did you find out about that?
Oh, he
2
told
weeks
me.
after the wedding.
Before the
That night.
wedding?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to excuse myself again. I'm on diuretics, so please forgive me.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, that is on me because I should have called it off right then, and I didn't. That was dumb. I was 20. Let's see. We started going out when I was 20, and we got married when I was 23. So I put that down to being young and stupid.
You're still
As
young and
we all
stupid.
are.
I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a friend who likes to say young
Oh.
people stupid.
Dave's
I
Dave's
don't
practicing
think-
the Australian thing, Julie, and he really loves you by pulling the piss out of you.
No,
I
have-
think every
it's
10
fine.
years you look back, you will say that 10 years ago you were stupid.
No, I was
Although
smart when I was
I could-
33. That's when I finally left the bastard.
Dave,
Now I'm
I was
42,
on your
so-
stream last week. I was stupid then.
You look back 7 days.
I can look back 7 days, yeah. I was stupid then.
You were younger and stupider. Will you make the
Not
same
much
mistake this
bigger.
week? MathPig.
I'm getting there.
I'm thinking. Come back to me.
Come back to you, in which case we've got to go with Manda.
Yeah.
Who started the love box meme?
I don't know.
It makes me
I
uncomfortable.
was actually thinking about that last night. I cannot remember. But yeah. No, I can't think of anything. Sorry.
And nothing you
Maybe
bought
come
that
back
was
to me
terrible.
too.
I go with walkie-talkies. Kids' walkie-talkies. Throughout my entire childhood, I wanted them to be so much better.
You know, we actually had a set of walkie-talkies that I would make Angel take whenever he would go outside and take the dog out and stuff, so I could scream at him to come back in when we lived in Tucson. That was I'm sure he did not enjoy that, but it was fun for me. Yeah, probably just there was a relationship I was in for a while. I had known the guy for a long time. We've been friends for a long time. Plus, we were in a long distance relationship for a year before we actually physically met up again. So I would probably say the sex that does not live up to expectations.
That's never going to happen again, is it?
Never going to happen again.
No, trust me.
I'm only 120 miles away, you know.
Fucking say 120
from MathPig.
I'll keep that in mind.
Jenny.
Yeah, that's it.
The question is, have you ever got something that you wished for and realised it wasn't as good as you'd hoped? What was it, and why did it not live up to expectations?
Oh. Well, you don't want a serious answer. I don't know. Don't even think about that for a minute. Is anybody else gone?
Well, I'll look in the chat and then I'll do Jen.
All right.
I'm still thinking.
You're still thinking. You got about a second and a half because the chat is not very chattative.
Yeah, because no one can think of anything.
Yandia says being born and realising it sucks. Nerdy, I got my computer eventually and it was awesome. That's the only thing I ever really wanted and it got given. But is that computer now still awesome? Jeff says those walkie-talkies had a range of about 10 feet. Yeah, that was the problem. Yandira says watercolour pencils were not as special as I thought. Spooky says walkie-talkies, we had cups and string, you lucky bastard. Cups and string were more fucking reliable.
Well, of course, we had it tough.
We had to shout. Gary says X-ray goggles. Jeff says, I bought tickets to see Star Wars Episode 8. Does that count?
Yes.
Everyone could answer that one.
Santi says cocaine was lame.
Oh, yeah, right? I mean, I wouldn't know.
Apparently.
I just imagine it didn't live up to it.
Jennifer says this is a hard question. Nerdy says, yeah, the TIE 994/A is still awesome. Santi says, I was really excited about trying it, but it was built up too much. Jen!
Alright, I got a serious one for you.
Go on.
I bought myself a therapeutic back mattress topper to help with my back problems, and it was a piece of shit, and it cost me $300.
Oh. Yeah, I'd be angry about that too.
Yeah, I was really angry about it. I was even more angry when the dog chewed a hole in it.
Oh no! You can return it. Damn it.
That was everyone.
No.
Yes.
Jenny.
Ah! Jenny!
She was hoping you wouldn't ask her this time.
Well, it's been a
Plus,
repetitive,
you
it's been a
didn't
repetitive experience. I've bought many pieces of clothing, mail order or online, and been completely disappointed once they showed up.
Yes, I can't disagree.
Yeah. Fair.
This camera. That camera there.
Help you mail order things that were disappointing and then became good.
then became good. When you added batteries, was that?
No, not that. I ordered a when I was developing for a special project, I'd ordered an Amiga 2650 microcontroller board, from China, one of the clone ones, because they were a shit ton cheaper, and it never showed up. So I complained to them because I paid for it and everything on eBay. So they sent me 2 as a special replacement. And then 4 weeks later, the original and those showed up, so I got 3 for nothing.
Oh, nice.
What?
And I'm like, fuck you fucked me around so much on this, I'm keeping them.
I did have that happen once at my shop. I couldn't maybe tell this. Well, I could. I'm retired. I could tell this. I ordered from one of my vendors a steering rack boot, a pair of them, for a car. They cost me about $10 a piece, and they sold for about $18, $19 a piece. And so I ordered one of each, and the vendors had some internal error going, and I got 1 case of each.
Ooh.
And I never told them, and for the next 5 years had nothing but pure profit on a $20 part.
Brilliant. All right. I've got to go somewhere where no one can go for me, so I'll be back in a bit.
Okay. B says, I wish to own a full-size Chevy truck. I have it and I love it. Well, that doesn't count to answer the question. Nerdy says, a $300 dog toy.
What?
Yeah.
We're going to have pictures later.
I'm sorry, I'm clearly not a dog owner, but because is that a thing? Why?
I can't imagine why.
I can think of certain reasons. Jeff says, I know a lot of people who would answer season tickets at Southampton.
I don't even know what that means.
It's a football club. I think any season ticket at any football club is a disappointment.
Yeah.
If anyone ever got me
Southampton
one.
is an inn where I live, so I was really confused. I was like, "That's so not great." I get why you're disappointed.
A season ticket to the Green Bay Packers is never disappointing. Never. Even on a losing season.
MathPig.
The only thing I can think of, because to be desperately honest, I'm an anal retentive bastard that does a lot of research before I spend money. I'm a tight cunt. Like, I still have my amp over there that I bought when I was 14, and it still runs my TV and stuff. Like, you know,
Yes, you are my kind of people. There we go.
Hey,
you're so tight. Which was popular. I had a look through the Wish app, and you know when you open some like Audis and fancy cars, they beam the symbol down onto the ground on a light. You open the door, if it's an Audi, it'll shine Audi on the ground, or if it's a Merc, it'll shine Merc on the ground. And I bought a set of them for the car, and they weren't great, but I've stripped them now for their circuitry, and I'm going to wire them into the battery and the door so they'll be better. So it's not really a loss, but...
That's awesome.
Is MathPig still talking about explosives?
No.
No, he's talking about...
That you're so...
Yeah, and the wee thing you can get pretty good, because it's actually...
Shut
you can
up,
change
man.
it.
I'm trying to insult you here, okay?
You're doing it very quietly, though.
You're so quiet, Jenny. I can't hear you.
Oh, well, okay. I'll try to talk better. So you're telling us that you're so anal you squeak when you fart. Is that it?
Didn't hear any of that.
Okay, go ahead. Say what you want.
Oh, no, that was it. I was just rounding up anyway.
Dave.
I already answered.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
walkie-talkies.
Walkie-talkies.
I was thinking that.
B says, my ex bought me an Xbox, hated it because I figured out that I really suck at video games.
Me too.
Oh, yeah, mine. Let's not even get into
Some
all the
video
weird
games are cool.
gadgets I've been given that I had no wish for at all.
I got the latest version of Civilization for free on the Epic Store, and I haven't played it.
Civilization's a cool game. I got a question for the chat. I finished this one. Do I pour another one, or do I sober up?
Sober up.
Sober up, I think, now.
That's between you and your non-god. I don't know.
You should definitely sober up.
I think it's going to take you at least an hour to sober up. I think we're good.
Oh, at least an hour. I might still be drunk when I wake up in the morning.
Exactly. Next question. Question 679. Have you ever improvised a condom? How?
No.
If not,
Why?
and needed to, what would you try?
Don't do that.
I wouldn't
Just
have
do not
sex.
do that.
There are infamous stories about things like this.
Yeah, and
Saran
those
wrap?
are stupid people. Don't do that.
Of course they are.
No, don't do that.
Saran wrap,
There you go.
aluminum foil.
Aluminum foil.
Ow and no.
Oh God!
Why,
Oh,
Jenny?
So much.
All right, no glove, no love, baby.
Manda,
No. No. That's
what would you
stupid.
use if you had to?
I
I would not have sex
good
that night.
I would give head and receive it.
There you go.
This is where the saying "no means no" comes into play.
Well, I didn't want it. Just you know.
Well, we've got to wonder about you, Dave, that you actually thought this was an applicable question.
I didn't.
Especially with full
I didn't
women
think.
on
I
the
didn't think. I actually didn't think anybody would have done.
panel. Okay.
I thought you might have some imaginative ideas.
No.
Nope.
I mean,
This is not a thought process worth pursuing.
you see, this is one of those things. It's one of those jokes that went round my school about someone trying to use a Snickers wrapper.
Oh, ew.
What?
A what?
How is that?
A
even
Mars bar.
possible?
A Mars?
Well, you.
A candy bar wrapper.
A candy bar wrapper as a condom.
Oh no!
Yeah, no.
Oh, no!
So
Oh,
that
that
kid
hurt.
impregnated
That is-
his girlfriend
that's as bad as tinfoil.
when he was 15? What was this?
The one I was with pulled out a candy wrapper and said he's going to put it on his schlong. I tell him to fuck off.
Yeah, I think they'd rely on the fact that I don't know that the girl's not checking.
What?
Doesn't
What?
mention.
How do you not know, though? I
Dave?
am legally blind without my glasses, and I can look and see
No,
if
that's me. I've never fucking done it.
if there's a condom. What? Are they having sex in the dark with their eyes shut? What? What the?
Pretty much.
Okay.
How could I can't? No woman is going to let something up there that she doesn't know 100% what the fuck it is.
Exactly.
No, I know for a fact that's not. I know for a fact that's not
It's not
true.
going to happen.
I know for a
Well,
fact that's
is
not
it-
true.
Well, I
Well,
certainly
you
would.
very
obviously sleep
special.
with some fucking sluts then, Dave.
That's
She wanted it
not.
wrapped in 100. She just wanted it wrapped in a $100 bill.
Oh!
Damn.
It wouldn't be much use afterwards, though, would it? I mean, American money would just fall apart after a good fucking.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no, American money is tough as fucking nails.
Oh no.
She says
that's
from
true. A lot of women
experience.
keep it in their bra here, so yeah.
So,
That's-
so in a pinch, you can roll up 100 and use it as a dildo.
Ew.
No, she
No.
also you might as well just use. a
Also,
straw.
paper cuts in a very special place. Why? Why?
Well, what of it then?
And in the
Spooky.
ER, the doctor says, "How did you get these?"
Fair question.
Imagine the visit to the hospital, to the emergency room
Oh
afterwards.
God.
My boyfriend thought I was a cash machine.
Dave?
How did you
Yeah.
get this bottle stuck here?
You keep trying to say
Shall we
something.
move on?
I'll keep trying to say what the chat says. I've lost it. Spooky says, have another little drinky, Jen. Nerdy says, no, I wouldn't. Yandira says, I've heard about people using balloons.
Very bad idea.
Nerdy says, I'm not getting anyone pregnant either way, but hey. Gary says, best improvised contraceptive. See, I think this would work on Julie. A MAGA hat.
Yeah, I would never fuck that. Yeah. That would be completely safe, and that person would not. Bye.
It would
Having
definitely
said
I'd like
that,
to leave
Julie,
my
do
home now.
you reckon Trump has condoms specially made with MAGA written on them?
Oh, for
No.
fuck's sake. He probably has condoms made with his own name on them.
You know what? Stamped with the fucking Trump brand.
Yeah.
They've got insert tab A in slot B.
That's
can-
more
Well, I mean,
likely.
he has enough children. I think somebody has guided him to the finish line or something. But
You could
Uh,
use a
But
magnet.
then you're assuming they're his.
Not only
and that's fair. That's a fair point. That is
Yeah, you
an
reckon
assumption.
someone has to hold his hands when he's with Melania, do you?
Ugh, I can't even. I can't. Please don't. Please stop.
I was gonna say,
With the
it's
imagery.
like, you know what? I like to explore random things about sex, and Trump is really fucking pushing mine. Really.
what does what?
Well,
what
we
does
can talk
Melania-
about what he
does-
likes to do in Russia, but I don't think it's applicable.
What does
Wait,
Melania say when she's having sex with Donald?
But
Honey, the ceiling needs painting.
would have
What did
to
she
be
whisper to herself? Only 10 more years. Only 10 more years.
Well, he already got her parents' citizenship, so I think as soon as the presidency's over, she can split. She could. I mean, there's nothing that says she couldn't split now, but
There's nothing that says she
Doesn't
hasn't.
she want the money?
that's
Wouldn't
fair.
you love?
Too.
Wouldn't you love to see her in the voting machine?
I'd love to. Yeah, and I'd love to see her their prenup. I'm really curious about that. But whatever.
I've got some very dark things about her. Jeff says cutting a finger off a latex glove could be an option. To which MathPig says
finger?
it'd need to be a big glove. I'm not convinced,
Yeah.
MathPig.
That's
B has the ultimate solution. He says I'm a lesbian. Moving on. Yandir says plastic bag.
That's just sad.
Jeff says, well, a Mars a day helps you work, rest, and play. And Nerdy says, I'd need to check out how efficient different rappers were. Snickers, Mars, Topic, Twix, etc.
Ooh, no. Okay, no. and also because sugar. Okay,
Sugar?
sugar plus vagina equals yeast infection.
Yeast
If you don't know
infection.
this,
I mean,
PSA.
as long as
All
they
right.
haven't
Oh, it's
turned it
okay, it's
inside
okay.
out, it wouldn't it be on their penis?
They've got a solution to that. Monster Munch
Ugh.
packets.
Okay.
What packets?
I don't
Monster
even know what
Munch.
that is, and I'm about to take a sip of
Chips.
wine at 9:30 in the goddamn
Monster
morning.
Munch flaming
Yeah,
hot
I don't
would
think
not
I've
work
got enough
down
to
there.
drink for this conversation.
Crisps, or chips as you call them. Chips packet.
Ew, no, greasy and weird, and also, ow. They're aluminum. They're cellophane, or just why? What? Use condoms,
Yeah,
people.
This is because you don't teach your kids that it's okay to go and fucking buy condoms.
Well, no, as a nation, we don't. I have. I've told my nieces and nephews, if you're not ready to walk into Walgreens and buy condoms, you're not ready to be fucking.
That won't
But
stop
if you're
them
gonna be
fucking.
fucking, let me know, and I will get you condoms myself. Like, that's because nobody else in the family is gonna tell them that.
What about these parents who won't talk to their daughters about having periods?
Yeah, that's really
That's
weird.
weird. Yeah, my
No,
mom
that's
was great about all that.
How could you?
You see, you get a pleasant surprise when at school you look down and you think you're dying.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how could you do that to your kid?
I don't know.
No, I've spoken
And again,
to several
if you're
people.
that uncomfortable,
Well, I would
if
see
you're
a
that
parent
uncomfortable,
a parent being nervous enough about it that they would put it off, and then maybe their child is somewhat precocious, has a precocious onset, and it just happens before they get to it. But
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah,
occasionally,
that
but
can
it happens often enough that it can't just always be that.
No.
Yeah.
And that's the
If
problem.
I had
Well, I think
a
this
daughter,
is why
she's gonna-
schools in this
she's gonna
country have
know
been
before she's
are taking it
12.
upon themselves. Well, the government has.
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I was that way with sex and reproductive health and
Right.
protection because I came of age in the 90s and we were all terrified of getting HIV. So I went and bought books and read things and educated myself and found out what Planned Parenthood was. So yeah. You know,
Okay, I think there's some bragging going on now. Nerdy says,
Yeah,
crisp
well-
packets would be much better. And then Nerdy then says, the outer pack from a sixth pack of crisps. And then he says, no, I need a bin liner, 80 litres.
Yep.
or a leftover piece of shrink wrap. Like
Oh my
from
god!
How they
Shrink wrap and a hot
stuff.
air gun.
Have you ever gotten burned by a shrink wrap machine? Because I have, and
Well,
that's
I'm not
that's
suggesting
the
that
terrible
you
thought.
use heat on it, but it's stretchy enough, and it tends to cling to itself. You could form something that way if you then use like a rubber band to anchor it down. And,
Seriously,
Oh, no, I would
that
not
nerdy, we
recommend
should
any of
probably
that.
wrap him entirely in
and the
shrink
rubber
wrap.
band would extend the erection too. So
You're gonna need a warning banner that this is a joke. We don't mean any of this. Do not. These are not recommended ways.
Under
of
no
protecting yourself from
circumstances.
STIs and pregnancy.
Under no
Under
circumstances
no
do anything we have
circumstances.
discussed.
maybe we need to get vendors to just start redesigning their packages so they have more dual use potential. You know, so that you could get that Snickers and know that hey, if I can not only have Snickers, but if I need, I could.
No,
use
no,
this
no. If
for-
you're going to go down that route, I think just provide a fucking condom with everything. Every item in the kitchen should come with a condom.
Remember, children, do not wrap elastic bands around your Twinkie.
No.
a condom with
Spooky
every
says-
can of canned
Ah!
tomatoes.
Spooky says,
tomato
can't you
soup."
just rubber band the end of the foreskin? Well, if that's not going to work in
Jesus
America...
Christ. I don't even have that part, and that makes me wince. I can't even. Oh God. No, foreskin is very sensitive. Wow.
The question, though, is if the guy's been circumcised, what the hell does he use then?
Well, he doesn't. That's the problem.
Like, no,
He's
got those bare
he's
knobs
less
and
sensitive,
all.
which is sad, but there it is.
Right, I think we should move on. I think we have done this topic.
I said that
Justice.
ages ago. Why did you stay with this one?
Babe, did you answer? Because you didn't.
I've answered repeatedly. I have no clue.
I
That's it.
think no one
That's
should
not, is
answer
that an
anymore.
answer, though?
I recounted the story I had from school about someone using a candy wrapper.
Yeah, but I mean, but did you answer, had you done it before?
No, of course I haven't done it before. I'm sane.
Well, what the fuck, ask any... Okay, well, never mind.
You think I'm fucking crazy?
What if you were to
What
use,
would
like,
you have done, though,
Yeah.
Dave? Had you been
But not
caught on the hop,
stupid.
what would you have done?
Oh, I'd have to go with the 80-litre bin bag.
Right.
Now we know you're full of shit.
what if you were to use that product that they advertise on TV, that Flex Seal? Could you just like paint the wang with that, and when it hardens up, you're all set?
And do you know what? I do wonder. Okay, I have a legitimate question. Could you use
Really?
paint on? Could
I've
you
never
use?
heard you having a legitimate
No.
question before.
Could you use? Could you use paint on latex?
No.
Well, that's basically
no.
what I'm suggesting.
Why not?
Well,
Well, because there has to
I
be
would-
somewhere for it to go. You need a bit left
Yeah.
at the tip of things.
I was
right?
going to say that there's at least 4 of us in this chat who it wouldn't work for.
I meant.
No, I'm just
So-
saying you're
so
risking,
back at
you're
you,
risking
Dave.
breakage
Could-
if you did that.
Could you or MathPig use paint on latex? Because you're the only ones who can.
Well, I
answer
think,
this question.
apart from what Julie just said, I think probably, and I also don't think. I don't know. I don't
You
know.
also don't think, yep.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to
No, sorry,
experiment.
What made me laugh was the loud zipper noise that came from somewhere.
Right now.
Alrighty. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe-
Dave's doing an experiment right now. He's going to find out if it works.
Another question is, why can't the manufacturers of condoms make them more sturdy so that you could reuse them? You know, wash them out.
They used to.
What you mean?
Condoms used to
Don't
be
reuse
condoms used to be reusable.
Ew.
Put them through the dishwasher.
They used to be made of a
Latex
much
breaks
harder
down.
rubber.
Oh
a
yeah,
harder
like
rubber.
you get that. You can get one of those things like you want to wash a baseball cap, and it's a form of a baseball cap, and you put it together so it doesn't lose its shape. You could get
The only
something
reason-
like that for
The
rubber,
only reason
too.
I know they used to have stronger ones was we had a TV advert that was trying to encourage kids to use condoms, and it had a guy in his 90s talking about what he used in the 30s. And they had a box with it in, and he got it out. It looks just like a condom, but the sides are like 3mm thick rubber.
Wow.
And he explains that he had to wash it and what he had to do with it. And how a condom was so much better than this.
Okay, I think my clitoris has officially retreated inside my body. Can we move on?
Yes,
Please.
please. I know. Oh, bloody hell. Right, just like I've got to do the chat quickly.
And you've dried up so much. It's
Oh my
Really?
god!
You're gonna do the chat.
I know. Doorknobhead says, improvised condom. I don't think that's best practice. This is from Doorknobhead.
And he is correct.
I just read what Yandere said.
Well, I've got to go through these. Yandere said sheepskin. Gary says goat bladders were used in ancient times. We're all mad here. Spooky says, yes, use sheep or cat entrails. Nerdy says, cover it in clay, bake it solid.
Ah!
Yandere says, Hannibal Lecter says human skin. Human skin is porous.
That was the worst one.
Doorknobhead says, if you're going to improvise a condom, go for the full meal deal and improvise a woman substitute to go with it. That works. B says, good idea, Nerdy. Would increase size and keep it from going soft. Because the woman would run if you improvised any of these things. Hopefully. If the woman has got any self-respect whatsoever, she will run.
I think the fact that the guy was suggesting it, we would have run in the first place.
Yes. Well, this is my point.
Ew.
Right, we can move on quickly before anyone says anything else.
Oh, please.
Thank you.
Right, question 680. What is the worst scam or con that you have ever perpetrated? That you're willing to admit to?
Oh, done.
Yes.
Scam or con that I've done.
Oh God, I can't. I can't say.
You can't say.
I don't know what the statute of limitations is, so...
Well, how about you tell me about something a friend of yours has done?
Is it a con,
Okay.
is it a con if you just don't provide clear information, no, that's the wrong way to put it. If you don't correct the misunderstanding somebody has and allow their preconceived beliefs to structure the deal when you know better?
See, I wouldn't necessarily say that was a scam, although I could see how it could be, depending on the specifics.
How about trying to convince people that I
wavy.
was a dude for the first X number of years of my life? Because that was pretty much a scam. And I wasn't very good at it either.
You didn't necessarily know.
That's why it was the worst.
Nerdy says, I did double glazing sales for an afternoon. See, I would say, if I was going to say my biggest scam, I would say I worked for a company called Seasons Holidays, where we had to phone up to give people shit. Free holidays. And it really wasn't a free
Apple
holiday.
once. Does that count?
Yes. No. Go on, Julie.
No, I honestly can't think of anything.
Is there nothing?
I can.
You've
No,
been
I'm
asked
not
to
saying
do at work.
I'm not saying I've never done anything wrong. That's not it.
No.
But it's like in terms of like a scam or a con. I don't think I've ever done that.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Again. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I've I stole shit in my youth.
That's not scamming.
Yeah, it's not scamming. So.
Doorknobhead says, scam or con? I told someone I didn't steal a cookie from the cookie jar, and there wasn't even a cookie or a cookie jar involved. I think that's a reference I don't get. Jen wins. I almost got into Amway. What's Amway?
Oh, it's a pyramidal selling
pyramid
product
sale.
scheme. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had relatives in that, and they like call you up and pressure you to help them out by buying their garbage.
Amanda.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A-bomb's what I think. Amanda? She's gone blocky.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Girl Scout cookies. I'm gonna check
Girl Scout cookies.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, I did that. I guess that
Fucking
counts.
like-
doesn't
Is
it?
that actually a scam though?
$6
Because
for
I
a
raise
fucking
money for the
box.
Scouts.
I'd say $6 for a dozen cookies is a bit of a scam, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a scam.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's definitely a scam.
And
Fuck
it's
that.
playing on people's, sense of patriotism and culture, and it's like the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts are
shit
good.
Cookies.
The
I
shit
don't
cookies.
care what anyone says about it. They are fucking shit cookies.
Yeah, no, the Samoas are nice. The ones with the chocolate and the cookies.
MathPig.
I work in sales, but I wouldn't go so far as saying that I've conned anyone, but I've definitely pushed sales to go through, but I've never to the point of, I would say, conned anyone.
Fair enough. I don't think I've got anything better than the holiday seasons, and I can't think of anything. Nope.
Well, I think this is good. We're generally decent
Generally
people.
decent
Nice.
people. And the point is, the worst thing is the number. It seems like there are more things that we have been asked to do that are unethical.
Oh yeah, I was asked to straight up lie, because I was a courier for a little bit, and I delivered. One of the things we delivered were cookie bouquets, which are horrible to transport in your car because they fall over and break so easily. But I was so late on this delivery because the itinerary was running late that I showed up after the cookie bouquet was for a nurse who was moving away, and I didn't get there until after her shift was over and she was already gone. And I called my boss and I was like, hey, how do we make this right? And he told me to flat out lie to them, to the nurses. And I just didn't. I just came back and told them, I'm so sorry we were late. Call my boss if you to get a refund, and then moved right home with it. And they ended up taking the money for that bouquet out of my paycheck. So my boss was an asshole.
Bastards.
Yeah.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wish I'd known that at the time.
This is what they rely on, though.
Well, then, for everybody who's in the business of handling any kind of cash, or from the checkout person at a convenience store, gas station, to what you were talking about, unless it is in your contract, written and signed agreement prior to the beginning of your employment, they cannot deduct your earned money from a problem with the product or situation like you described. They cannot do that. It's illegal, flat out.
No.
Thank you.
B says, when I was 20, I sold those boxes of steaks out of a pickup truck with a freezer in the back. It was such a rip-off for the consumers. She's already told us that story.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that story. B has actually said that story.
And the fact that she told the guy that she was with trading, and he went to the loo, and she said, "Don't buy this."
Yeah.
Yeah, don't buy this. Yeah. I mean, when I worked with Apple actually had a policy of deliberately upselling people even when they didn't need the product.
Yes, very much so.
Apple are fucking dreadful. They are a crap-ass company. I would never buy an Apple product.
No, totally agree.
Apple is just another capitalist business. Yep. Every business out there will try to upsell you. It's the nature of capitalism. It's how profitability.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, entirely.
It's the way it's done in every business with every.
But there doesn't seem to be.
Why I build my own computers.
Yes, right. Doorknobhead says Girl Scout cookies are a scam. Why? Because they are not made from real Girl Scouts.
Are they made from real Girl Scouts? I'm sorry. That was so great. That's well done.
B said I only lasted 1 week because it was too dishonest. They targeted elderly.
You
and
might
people
want to
on
ask
welfare.
Amanda, Dave, because she's feeling like we're talking over.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amanda.
Amanda.
Sorry, Amanda.
What? What was the question?
What's the worst scam or con you have ever perpetrated?
Yeah, you said Girl Scout cookies.
Oh yeah.
You did. I thought she did.
You did.
But I'm not falling asleep. I looked down at my phone.
We never said you were falling asleep.
No, the chat
somebody
did.
in the chat did. But in order to look at the chat while I'm doing this, I looked down at the phone. So not falling asleep, just looking down.
I have to look over there.
Santi says I used to print copies of the bus pass and sell it for $5.
Oh,
Brain,
Now,
Yeah,
I had
okay.
friends who would take the Memphis Flyer, which is a free, and it says it on the
Yeah.
cover, free. It's a free daily newspaper here, and they grab like a bunch of copies from a stand somewhere, and then go downtown and sell them to tourists for like $2 to $5 a piece or whatever. But and I never did that, but I didn't. I never really came down on anyone I knew who did that because these were mostly street kids anyway. So they were just getting by.
Brainbug says, I used to be on a paranormal investigation team. What a sham that was in retrospect. But people were eager to throw money at it.
Yeah.
Doorknobhead says, wrong crowd for cons or scams. You have to talk to rich elites to get a lot of scam stories. Right. Moving on.
Right, no, I haven't gone. I'll tell you my story.
Oh, go on then.
So this is it's uncomfortable telling you this because in all my years in the automotive business, knowing how crooked it is for the most part, a highlight of our shop was that we were ethical. We did not believe in scamming customers the way the shops can do very easily. In fact, we would go so far as to expose other shops scammed, or when a customer has been scammed, we would teach customers what to watch out for.
She says this just before she's about to tell us what she's done.
We would give
I know, but I mean, just as somebody who knows jack shit about cars, it's so nice to hear that there was one.
if I fucked up a job and it had to be re-diagnosed or something like that, we didn't charge the customer for that. That was our fault. You don't pay. You'll pay for parts if we need that, because we've taken the old parts out and put your original stuff back in. But if you need something else that's new, the parts you're going to pay for, but not the labor. Anyways, there's this one particular model BMW that has this one particular version of a 5-speed transmission that will, from time to time, loosen up one particular bolt that's accessible from the exterior of the transmission and cause a widget inside to change its position to not allow another widget to do its job. And the car will get stuck in reverse and first gear at the same time. The car is immovable. It
I'm
cannot
not surprised.
Be
First gear and reverse at the same time? How is that even possible?
They're separate gears.
And
if everything slides around and can be pushed around, it's possible to put them both into their operational slot at the same time. That's why transmissions are so amazing, because they can do all these things and not have that happen. Anyways, we had this car that was towed into us because this woman heard that we were the BMW specialists, which was true. And she described the problem, and I knew right away the very strong likelihood of what it was. And I also knew that if I take out the reverse switch and I take this long particular drift that I had made and custom made, that I could get around certain things and up in certain areas and go tap, tap, tap and fix the problem. And she had expressed that she was going to sell the car as soon as it was fixed. And when she told me that the other shop quoted her that it was going to cost over $2,000 to fix the problem, I told her that, well, you may want to just sell the car before you fix it and just sell it as is, because you're going to lose the money and you're not going to get the money back. It's just going to be a wash. Sell it as is. The car was in near pristine condition, and I bought it for $500 when I should have probably paid $4,000.
Ooh.
But she was happy because she didn't see money going out and then money coming back in. That really just washed it instead of. And so I made a really good deal, and then I fixed the transmission in about 15 minutes and sold the car for $4,000.
I've got a very similar story.
But the money went to a good use. It helped pay for my surgery.
Yay! Okay, fair.
I've got one that's very similar. That's very similar, but not a scam. Someone brought an engine in to be fixed, and on the initial strip down, he
peed in the alternator.
Say again? No.
He peed in the alternator.
No. The point is, it wouldn't run. And we stripped it down. It looked like all the electronics burnt out, and it looked like a write-off. And the guy wanted a quote for fixing it. We said we can't do a proper tear down and quote without, but it looks like a write-off. He said, "Fine, will you give me 50 quid for it?" Why do we want an engine that's... Anyway, he said, "All right, how about 20 quid?" So we gave him 20 quid for the engine. We thought we might be able to get some parts out of it. And we sat down a week later and actually started fiddling with it. And it turns out that what was the electronics? It was smoke damage. They basically just burned oil in the engine, and it just needed basically a complete oil change. And it was back to working. So we basically got a similar sort of thing, a £2,000 or £3,000 engine for 20 quid. Yeah, but this is all the guy. But this is the guy's fault. If the guy had asked us to actually spend the time to strip it down properly to find out what was wrong with it, he would have had it. We didn't want the engine. So it was just a similar story.
Yeah.
Anyway.
By the way, I also just have to say in my own defense that honest to God was the only time I ever took advantage of somebody. And I knew that this woman was fairly wealthy based on her.
Yeah.
There's also something odd about that.
And
Your knowledge.
2 or 3 carat diamond that she had on her finger.
It's only your
Based
knowledge.
on the fact that she had a BMW.
It's only your knowledge that allowed you to do that.
Yes. And my very high level of skill.
Yeah. That in its own right has value, even though it would only have taken you several minutes. Yeah. Anyway, Jeff says, "Come on, Manda. Manda worked for NASA. She must have been involved in the con to convince people the Earth is a globe."
Oh!
Hashtag biggest scam. Doorknob Head says, "Who scammed Dave into buying a bouncy ball? Well, at least we get a laugh from it."
Only if he falls off his balls.
I almost did before. Did you not see that?
I did not.
I missed that one.
I'm drunk. What do you expect?
I swore in the middle of a sentence.
Because I'm drunk.
Right, next question. Just for Manda, this one. Question 681. If you could make anything an Olympic sport, what would be your best shot at winning a gold medal?
Ooh.
Drinking?
Did you say drinking?
Yeah, I did.
You think you can drink? Well, enough to win a gold
drink
medal.
alcohol really well.
I think you would be under the table
would suck.
singing.
I mean, let's face it. I've had that much of what's in 20% alcohol drink, and I'm pretty drunk now, so I'm pretty much a lightweight.
You've not met the Irish.
The Irish and the Scottish could drink me under the table any day. No, stay away from the Scottish thing.
MathPig.
I could answer, but Manda might shout at me. But probably the best thing I would be that would be maybe driving. I can drive pretty fast.
But that's
Manda?
already a sport. Just not
It is, but it's not an Olympic sport.
Fucking off anti-science people, or yeah, would probably be it.
So telling people to suck your dick.
Exactly.
But I think a 14-year-old teenage boy would beat you.
Dave, sorry to interrupt, but Dave just pointed out that it's Spooky's birthday this week. Does anybody know what day that is?
That would be today.
Is that today?
It is.
Happy
Are we
birthday,
singing
Spooky.
happy birthday, are we?
No.
No.
That went really
Do we
bad.
have to sing?
No, not singing.
That's really not a present.
Is it today? Well, it could have been yesterday. God, my memory's so bad. Was it yesterday? Was it today?
Oh, we got to do
Shit.
this all over again for Spooky. We did this last night.
Happy birthday.
Spooky says no tomorrow. Well, why did someone tell me it was today? I was thinking not Jad that told me it was today. Oh, it's because it's
damn
fucking
you,
Australia,
Spooky.
isn't it?
I was
'cause it's
getting the
Australia.
sing on.
It's today in Australia. Tomorrow.
Yeah, and they played them. They played them the video of Marilyn Monroe singing.
And I'm not here tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to wish him a happy birthday now.
Yeah, well, I'll wish him a happy birthday now. No singing, just
Yeah,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Spooky!
birthday, Spooky.
He's 57.
Happy birthday to you.
How is that no singing?
Yeah.
But you guys had to do no singing.
I don't know. That kind of sounded like no singing to me.
Oh!
Santi says, smoking, no further comment. Jennifer says, social distancing. Gary says, reading my own mind. Yandir says, jumping jacks. Doc says, masturbation. Nerdy says, sleeping, opiate consumption. Shh. I'm sorry I banged on the table.
I will accept your burn, Jen, when you sing better than me.
Okay.
Doorknob Head says,
I
Olympic
can't.
She can't. Doorknob Head says, Olympic tomato soup on ceiling competition. Not really sure what that would entail.
And Doorknob, you don't mean soup and you don't mean tomato, do you?
What?
Julie!
Chain smoking.
Chain smoking.
I could win a gold medal for chain smoking.
I think I could have beaten you a few years ago.
Yeah, but
Quite possibly.
Now, no. I'll smoke one and I'll just cough my guts up.
Exactly.
Can we have an event that's all about sexual innuendo?
Maybe?
Because that'd be fun.
I'm